Hello everyone, I am Isha Agarwal and today I will answer some questions of all of you. So I am ready, you can ask me anything.
Please, Isha, introduce about your qualification background first.
My name is Isha Agarwal, I live at Mathura, and about my qualification, I have just completed my 11th class and now I am in class 12.
Class 12. With which stream?
I have commerce stream.
Commerce stream. So, were you interested to take this commerce stream or not?
Yes, of course.
So, how many subjects do you study every day in commerce?
I study almost all the subjects, but for some time.
Okay, please, what is your future planning?
My future planning is I want to clear CS examination.
CS examination means?
Company secretary.
Company secretary. So, is there any organization to conduct this examination?
Yes, there is an organization named ICSI.
Okay.
That is.
ICSI.
Yes.
So, what will be the pattern of examination?
It is based on 4 MCQ and there will be 120 MCQ questions. They should be based on different subjects like business communication, legal aptitude, logical reasoning, and English grammar is also there.
Okay.
And a part of current affairs.
Current affairs also. Yes, the same question is here from our side that you were discussing over the democratic principles. So I want to know your views over the democracy.
Actually, according to me, everything has pros and cons both. But if we saw on a bigger side, that me personally, I think that democracy is not good for our country.
For our country. Okay, so why the democracy is not good for our nation?
She is contrary to it.
Yes, obviously, issue should be.
Actually, as I talked about that many people and most of the people are just misusing their some rights like freedom of speech, freedom of you can say many rights are given to us. Yes, many rights are given to us and we are not using them properly.
Okay, in the democratic principle, there is a one specific, the core feature of the democracy is that integrated judiciary system.
Yes.
Okay, on which the public judgment is relying. But public judgment is not coming frequently. So, don't you think so that is there any, there is a compromise in terms of the judiciary or democracy? Because judiciary is the pillar, which is what should I say? There is a term I am forgetting, but judiciary is the one kind of pillar on which a democracy is standing. But if judiciary is not good, so how we can sustain democratic principle?
On what basis can you say that our judiciary is not
Like suppose that in the morning we also discussed in the morning itself already. Like suppose that if there is a friction in the society, okay, the friction is related to the social problems, and the social problems are being not sanctioned by the constitution itself. But still people want to propagate that kind of practice. So don't you think so that?
So there should be some kind of law for these kind of activities.
But law is there, law is existing, but existing law is not being respected by the individual in the society. People, majority.
So that's what I am saying. This is a problem of democracy. Some strict rules should be there.
Okay, what kind of changes do you want to bring in democracy?
In democracy, firstly, I want to say that some kind of freedoms, like freedom of speech, firstly, it should be limited. Some
it is already limited.
No, it is not limited. Certain limitations should be there. There are limitations where people are actually not following the constitution rightly because there is no strictness.
Okay, what do you mean by limitation?
That is a problem of the democracy.
Yes.
People are not, following the rules.
People are not following them properly, and there is a lack of strictness.
Actually, this is problem of the government,
rules,
not the democracy.
The rules should be followed strictly.
Okay, what do you mean by limitation?
Limitation means if you are speaking something, so there should be a particular limit to speak behind that.
So there is already limitation by the constitution itself, because each and every specific right is not absolute right, it is relative right. Don't you think so?
No, if I take example of some, if you saw the TV, then several debates go on and certain kind of politicians are there, certain people are there who just use some kind of abusive languages, some kind of very bad language.
No, actually using abusive language or like slang language in the parliamentary debate, okay, that is a different aspect. But whenever we speak and by our speaking we are crossing our limit, and by crossing our limit our national integrity is compromised, then constitution allows us to make the right relative, not
so
absolute.
That is good. That is good. I am saying that everything has pros and cons, but in democracy it is also good that we have the right to speak something. We have the right to express our views. but expressing our views and means just violating the
But
rules.
there is a penalty, Isha. Your name is Isha.
Yes.
But there is a penalty and punishment. There is a like a disciplinary actions are taken against those people who are using very vulgar language in terms of debate.
Profanity.
There are profane languages
And
all.
what about the parliament? In parliament, you can see
That's what-
even people they throw the chairs here and there.
So.
Is this a parliament of the country?
So no, like suppose it might be the case that whenever the people are discussing with each other with a very warm emotions, okay, it might be the case that the discussion is turning to be very violent in terms of throwing chair
but
or like
nowadays,
throwing
MCG,
sleepers.
you can see that the condition is not
But
good.
sister, there is a specific provision for those acts also. There are the disciplinary actions which are taken by the respective speaker of that Lok Sabha.
They want to do that, but actually they are not able to do that because there is a many people are there in front of that speaker, and they you can see on the TV that how they are throwing the chairs, and especially after the removal of the membership of Rahul Gandhi, this thing is also increasing.
So it means just because of the removal of disqualification of Rahul
No,
Gandhi.
it is also a cause, and many other causes are also there.
It means like throwing chair, using slang language or like profane language. We should not use in
In
parliament.
a parliament, that is a symbol of the country.
That is the symbol of because it is national live telecast.
Yes.
Okay, so many people are watching us. Okay, but what do you think about that?
So should it be replaced with a dictatorship?
No, actually, proper dictatorship is also not good for the country. But our
So what is the solution then?
the solution is that both the things should be parallel.
Parallel.
Yes, a balance should be there.
So
in
if-
democracy we have the
if you
balance
were-
only.
If it is in your hands, what would you love to do in it? What changes would you like to bring?
In a dictatorship, firstly, we have a limited limit to speak something, and that limit should be imposed in our country. And one more thing is there that in our country,
So
if you go on a road,
We
okay,
have
so
already limit to speak the speech.
how can you say on TV? You can see thousands of debates where people are speaking nonsense. No logic is there, and many bad languages.
Rationality is there.
Yes,
Are they talking rubbish?
yes, very rubbish.
What is rubbish there?
So means using a kind of very bad language and means just creating it as a मट्टी
they-
छापे कहते हैं ना
Though
environment.
they don't
Fish market.
Fish market.
Right.
They don't do sober behavior. Okay, but don't you think so that like punishment was there? Okay, punishment is still there. Okay, for those people. But don't you think so that sometimes if we want to convey our messages, so it becomes tough for us to convey message because person doesn't understand in a simple language. So we have to use very profane language in front of those people.
Like Bhagat Singh.
Like
बहरे को सुनाने के लिए धमाका करना पड़ता है.
yes, Bhagat Singh. It will be the right example to set here.
This kind of language is not bad, but the language which is being used
Actually, outrightly killing someone is wrong, and using slang language is somewhere or the other liberal in comparison to the murdering someone. If Bhagat Singh can take this kind of a step to make the people aware, and it might be the case that people might have died in that bomb blast, but people didn't die. Okay, so here we are just using the profane language to convey our messages, and sometimes government is so much resistance that they don't give ear to the public opinion.
but politicians they just believe in radicalism.
Okay, how?
Yes.
How
Yes,
can you say this thing?
especially they believe in radicalism, and for this there is only one solution, that in politics there should be some educated people. If you see
Actually-
the politics, mostly the people are uneducated and even illiterate in politics.
And do you like the selection process of CM and PM in the country? Yes or no? Please let us know.
Yes.
No, that is good. That is good. There is nothing bad.
There is nothing bad. But there are so many petitions in the Supreme Court or High Court regarding the election procedure of the CM and PM. Like obviously, if I just talk about the president election, the petition was there. Okay, the prime minister election, the petition was there that there is one kind of adulteration or a scam in the election process of prime minister because he was from both the seats.
Actually, in our country, opposition parties are there, and on each and every step taken by the government, they are just ready to raise their voice.
Actually, we should talk here rationally. suppose that if opposition party is obviously in each and every country, if the suppose that there is a by-election, there is a multi-party election in India, multi-party system in India is existing,
Yes.
not by-election party. Okay, so in multi-party there are so many there are so many opposition leaders who are criticizing the current government. So it is not the case of the strong opposition, but there are some kind of like scam in the election process, by which the election commission is also becoming very pensive over the matter. And the Supreme Court is also thinking to bring the election of the Prime Minister simultaneously as along with the
But after the
president.
arrival of that EVM machine, electronic voting machine,
Yes, yes.
After that there is a significant decrease in that kind of a scam.
Scam. Do you know earlier it was existing before, like when the existence of the EVM was there, but it was decreased just to introduce the VVPAT machines in the election process. That's how it decreased. Earlier it was EVM. In EVM there was a lot of scam, scam used to take place.
Scam can be everywhere because many people are there who are just
Actually,
ready.
everywhere we can tolerate, but in terms of the democratic representative government, we cannot tolerate it, because we are making that person face standing at the national front who can rule over the country. But if the person is elected by using scam, so it is not justified. It is against the wins and fences of the
that
people.
was the problem of our country because there is so much population and our country is not that much developed till now. So, but right now we are significantly decreasing the amount of that scams, and I think that one time will come when these scams will be fully finished.
Eradicated.
Yes.
Okay, one kind of question, like answer you in your statement, you said this thing that people are being radicalized. How?
I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about certain politicians.
Certain politicians are being radicalized.
Politics of radicalization.
Yes.
How do they do it? I mean, what are the
You can see the parliament. One more, I will give you example of parliament. There is so much. Even I have read somewhere one time that in a parliament a certain MP was injured.
Injured.
Yes. So isn't it radicalism?
Like MP was injured there. So
Could you please talk about the benefits of democracy to this girl?
Me?
Yeah.
yes,
please.
yes. Democracy, because
Some great benefits.
yes, great benefits. Do you think so that in democracy, don't we enjoy the parties equal participation of the representation, which is no country is giving?
Equal participation is important, but in our country there is almost more than 750 parties. Political parties are there, and a huge
Not
kind.
actually, there are the two systems of the elections, like direct elections or indirect elections.
Yes.
In direct elections, we are taking the representation to the central government, but indirect election, like in terms of the election of president, it is indirect. Okay, but direct representative we are in terms of the election of prime minister. So it is a huge applaud for us because we are raising our voice through the MP, and MP is standing in the parliament, and he's
But
raising.
actually, the election process of president, that is the proportional representation system.
Yes.
In that system, the president has to be chosen by the MPs of the parliament. So that
Elected.
is a kind of indirect election, and that is there is no problem because we cannot.
Actually,
But
elected.
earlier you said the selection process is awesome, nice.
Yes, awesome, and the
Now
president.
criticizing.
No, president selection process is also good. It is not bad, but we can't choose.
But
all-
actually, Isha, president election electoral college is different.
Yes.
Okay, the elected member of the legislative assemblies, elected members of the elected legislative assembly of UTs. Okay, they are the representing in the election process of president.
Yes.
But if we have to talk about the prime ministerial election, so there is a direct representative from the public side itself. Suppose that if we have to amend this kind of a procedure in terms of the prime minister elections, so it will be very difficult for us to sustain the democratic principle. Don't you think so?
No, let me tell you.
Yes.
Actually, in our country, the president is considered as a Katputli,
Puppet.
puppet.
Puppet, yes.
Puppet of the nation, and they are just by
You
the
can use the
name.
right word, state of the head of the state only.
Head of the state.
Yes.
And according to me, there is only one work of president to sign any kind of policies in our country.
Assent, giving the assent.
Yes. In other countries, presidents are considered the highest person of the country. But in our country, the system is different. Here we consider prime minister.
So obviously, because we have the parliamentary democracy,
Yes.
okay, not presidential democracy.
So that's why it is not important to choose the president by ourselves, because
Okay.
that is a matter of
Actually, collective majority is from the prime ministership. Okay, collective majority people are coming in the parliament or making the council of ministers, which are taking decision as a cabinet. Okay, on which the president is giving assent, which is known as a sign. Okay, that's how the bill is becoming act. But
yes.
do you think so that if each and every aspect, if president and prime minister are equally practicing or enjoying the same conditions or the same power and privileges, so it is justified? What do you think? What is
Actually, in
justified?
one nation there can't be two leaders. Only one leader will be there and can be there. If two leaders will be there, so it will definitely
Okay,
create
just
conflicts.
take example in the US government and US
Yes.
Senate itself. In US Senate, there is a president. Okay, there is a president, but there is a president. So president is known as the executive, but legislative powers are like handed towards the different bodies. But legislative powers are equally parallel with the president power.
But here the system is different. Here parliamentary system is there.
So,
Here presidential
sister,
system is
dear
there.
sister, we have borrowed our constitutional features from these countries also.
We have only borrowed, not we have completely borrowed.
Not borrowed, it means we are practicing somewhere
Yes.
or the other. That's why we have given the tag parliamentary democracy.
Okay.
Parliamentary democracy was not existing in India since ancient period. Okay,
It was borrowed from certain countries.
not certain country, directly USA. We have just taken this kind of principle specifically. Okay.
US and British.
Yes, that is what. So you know, like when we have this kind of principles from the different nations. What happened?
Nothing, just continue.
Okay. When we have just borrowed this kind of principles like certain directive principle of state policy, fundamental rights, and judiciary system, okay, and the presidential system from the different nations. So according to our comfortability, we have borrowed, na? And after that we are practicing it.
But in our country there is a mixture. Okay, there is a mixture of
Mixture of
policies
what?
of certain countries. We have borrowed our constitution.
Not policy,
from-
sister, not policy. In the index of the chapter of
Yes, that
constitution, we have
yes,
the mixing.
constitution, the preamble of the constitution. So it has borrowed from some countries somehow. It is borrowed from many countries. Canada is also there, Britain is also there, and USA is also there.
Actually,
You know, by using the democracy, you and Prime Minister are equal.
Actually,
You have right to give only one vote and
federalism
only
in
one
our
vote.
country there is federalism which has been taken by America.
so what do you understand by federalism?
Federalism is decentralization of power
Decentralization of the power from which unit to which unit?
from means central government, then state government, and then the district.
Okay, there is a federalism whenever we are just separating the what?
Means the power system.
Public can also decentralize, right?
Okay, division of power or the separation of power. What is the difference?
That's why
between?
elections are also there. At district level, elections are there. At state level and at the national level, all the three levels have elections.
So federalism has been introduced for the like feasible or for the
Because
flawless
there is so
communication of
much,
the
there is
central
so much
government.
diversity in our country. That is why we need a federalism.
Okay, I agree with that thing that we have a lot of various like diversification society in India. That's why we have opted for the federalism. But don't you think so? On the other hand, if you think that it is a vast nation, and to rule over that vast nation, it is impossible for the central government. So that's for the feasibility of the administrative capacity. The government has opted for this principle of federalism.
Yes.
Don't you think so? And if I have to talk about, so the sometimes federalism also creating the national integration problem. Sometimes in terms of the
Yes, when the governments are different at the center or state level.
state government. No, when the government, when the same majority party
I want
governments
to
are
talk
also
about
there.
certain topics. Firstly, the governor is the main issue, and the main issue is that if there is different government in the state and in the center, for example, Delhi
Yes.
or West Bengal. So here different governments are there at the state level and at central level. So here conflicts are obvious because two opposite parties are there, and they
But-
will definitely create.
Okay, opposite party system is a vice versa obvious case. But apart from this case, I am talking about a different case. Suppose that there is a BJP ruling government and central government is BJP ruling government. But there is also contradiction related to the policy, related to the delegation of works at all. Don't you think so? In terms of finance, in terms of autonomy.
Because here we want all the approvals. We want to take the approvals of majority of the country. Majority is the winner in our country.
But sometimes-
even in elections.
But sometimes majority of the people is not being approved by the these silly leaders or these profane leaders. Don't you think so? Like majority has elected Mr. Modi. Okay, majority has elected since 35 years with the Congress has been ruling. Okay,
75 years.
75. Oh, sorry, opposed I spoke, hai na? But 75 years the Congress is ruling. The majority is opposed. Majority is not respected in India. So that's why the people are fed up with this principle of democracy.
So how can you say the majority is not respected?
Majority is not respected because the collective majority peoples are not being represented in the parliament. That's why there is a protest in society. Do you think so? How many demands are being completed every day by the MP of the particular constituency?
They will get you certain problems if you will
Suppose that Hema Malini is MP from Mathura itself, okay, Mathura constituency, and she is representing what she has done in terms of the development. Even though MVDA, everywhere it is written MVDA, Mathura Vrindavan Development Project, but it is still in pipeline.
Actually, this is a loophole in our system that the government work always.
But if you speak as, you will be sister under the Sedition Act in front of government.
What?
If you speak like that, na, people are not, the majority is not respected by the government, and the government is misusing.
No, let me.
Yes.
Majority is not majority is respected in our country, and here the government work is actually slow. You can see from the ancient time that here the government work is always been slow, but now if we compare, then it is significantly growing and fastly growing.
Okay, what is the reason that why the government work is very slow?
Okay,
even though in the present of the
I
technology.
read today in newspaper that the helipad is there in Vrindavan and at Govardhan, and it has been made. Means not completely, but half it is made. So that is not that government is not respecting us. Government is respecting us, but because of such a diverse, such a big nation, so government is not able to handle each and every constituency equally. Government is focusing on metropolitan cities more.
But like, how can you say that government is not focusing over the specific constituencies?
Government is focusing, but they can't focus properly on
So,
all the constituencies.
in every case we can say government can do, but government can't do.
Yes.
In every case it is possible.
So that is the problem of.
Suppose that if I have to talk about the inclusive economic system, so government can do inclusive economic system in India, but government can't. Government is not reaching in the possible region. Don't you think so? So it means the private stakeholder should come forward in terms of inclusive economy. But wherever we have given the responsibility, where we have given the onus to the government, on the government shoulder, that mighty government, you are the sole authority to conduct this kind of act in the favor of, or in the in the favor of the weaker section. But still, if you, being a sole authority, if you are not allowing us to, you are not, yourself is not doing, then how we can take insurance from the another party? Don't you think so?
I'm not getting your point.
I want to say that suppose that you are sole authority.
Okay.
Sole authority to conduct any kind of welfare activity in any specific constituency. Okay, being a sole authority, you are not capable enough to communicate directly. So don't you think so? If government delegate this power to another authority, so that will be corruption free. That they will definitely do whatever the government wanted to do.
Government system is so much complicated, and
So
in the government system there is so much bribery, and we can't eradicate it. We can only mitigate it, because we are such a vast nation and we cannot make each and every people understand, and there is a lack of illiteracy till now in our country as comparison to another countries, and after being educated there is a lack of skills.
Lack of skills. What?
Yes, and in the economic system all representatives are there, but the representatives which gone from certain states, they were chosen.
I
Some
agree
specialists
with
will
this.
be chosen. Yes, some specialists will be chosen only
I
at the
agree.
highest level.
I agree. Like government by amateur is there. I agree with this statement with you.
Amateur.
Amateur, yes, amateur. Because in USA it is a very positive aspect. The people at large are being elected as a MP. But in India, amateur. Even the person who is cutting the grass in the field, please, you should stand in election. We will give
The
you
people,
vote.
if we talk about the village, the people who are living in the rural field, they don't know properly about the government, but they are mostly interested in the government.
I think you are very aware. Therefore, recently that there was one MLA who was caught red-handed in the UP Assembly,
Yes.
watching something very vulgar.
Yes, I don't know the name, but I have seen.
Okay,
the,
so that's why we can anticipate that how much kind of democracy principles are being followed in India. Great, very healthy discussion with you.
Okay, it was nice. I'm gonna give it a pause now. You can just take
Yes.
water, right? And yeah, you are being bold day by day.
No, there is intellectual competency and the
Yeah.
moral qualities along with the compassion and empathy. Yes.
And assertiveness is there, right?
Assertiveness is there, yes.
That is great, right? So just keep it up and be involved in the debates like this, right? Mr. Anil will keep coming in this batch, right?
Yes.
He will spare some time after leaving the library, right?
Yes.
He will actually.
What are you preparing for?
The same thing you know well.
UPSC.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So let's just give a huge round of applause for